Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome. I hope that you'll join the FearlessRN family. If you're returning, thanks for coming back. So throughout this video, if you like this video, please don't be shy. Give it a big thumbs up, as well as comment down below. Share this video. I am also very social. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Periscope, Facebook. So please follow me on all of my social media sites. I'll have it listed somewhere on the screen, as well as directly linked in the description box. So please feel free to follow me there and share your screen name down below, because I will be following back. This is a great way for us to stay in contact with each other, and when I'm not here, I will most likely be active on one of those social media sites. So I'll see you guys there too. As I've mentioned in one of my previous videos, in that video I mentioned that my journey to becoming a registered nurse was not an easy one at all. And let's be honest, NCLEX was not easy for me either. NCLEX for me was like something I was so afraid of. I did not want to face it, but to me it's like a rite of passage. You have to get it done if you want to work as a registered nurse. So I had to get over it real quick. Sitting here, I'm not afraid to let you guys know that I am a repeat tester. I'm not ashamed of it, because I feel like it's a part of me, it's a part of my story. And if you are a repeat tester, don't be ashamed, because whatever doesn't break you makes you stronger. Being a repeat tester has its negative and positives, and therefore I embrace it, because I've learned a lot by being in that situation. I can discuss that in another video if you'd like, but remember, every obstacle is designed to make you stronger. So never give up, guys. Never give up. You're gonna hear me say that a lot of times, because I feel like the moment that you're trying to go for something and you feel like, I'm done, I give up, that is the very moment that you're about to get what you want. That's what my mother told me when I felt like I wanted to give up. She was like, no, keep going, keep studying, you got this. So thanks, Mom. The first thing I had to do after failing my exam was assess what needed to be changed. I had to look at my old study habits and see where I was going wrong. Figure out what needs to be changed. Because you know the saying, you want to study smarter, not harder. I came to a realization that I was actually studying harder, doing more, and not really studying smarter, more effectively, more efficiently. So that is a huge change, and I feel like it really helped. I also asked other friends, people who are successful on the exam, what were their tips and how did they study, so I can incorporate their study skills. The next thing that I did was I studied in a study group. Study group is a strict, controlled, and quiet environment, which is ideal for studying for a test called NCLEX, guys. So that was a big change for me, and probably the number one thing I will say that really helped me. While being in my study group, it was 4 of us, and it was really good for me because it was refreshing to be in a situation that was different. In the study group, we were able to, provide each other with any questions we may have, explain difficult concepts, share new information that we may have found, ask questions, which activates your critical thinking, and we were each other's support system. And I feel like that was very important for me, because in the past, I used to study by myself. So being that I was in a study group, it was a huge difference for me, and it was super beneficial. The next thing that I did that really helped me to pass NCLEX was that I wrote out my lab values. There are some lab values that you definitely must know. So I wrote those out and I memorized them. And what I did to memorize was, of course, I wrote it out once, and then I kept questioning myself, giving myself a little quiz to make sure that I know it. After a certain time, you're able to write on your whiteboard. I was able to write the necessary lab values that I did not know on my whiteboard, and let me tell you, that really helped me. I wrote out all the rationales, whether they were right or wrong, because I wanted to make sure that I had a good foundation with my content. This is just a random page in my notebook, and I wrote out the rationales. I did not write the questions. I just wrote the topic name, and luckily the resource that I used was very informative, which I'll discuss coming up. The next thing that I used was an app called NCLEX RN Mastery app, and that was really convenient because I was able to do questions on the go when I was out in a car ride, or if I was laying up in bed and I couldn't fall asleep, which happens most times. I would do random questions and just read the rationales, and that was very helpful for me because I was still being active in my studying and I was still able to feel like I'm learning something. I felt like I was able to accomplish something at the end of the day by doing some questions. It could be 25, whatever the case was. As long as I was doing questions, I felt great. Now, I have a big smile on my face because the number one resource that I felt really helped was UWorld. I started UWorld off with doing 25 questions, and then I tell you the rationales for that. And if there was ever a topic that I didn't know, UWorld was great with giving me all the content related material so I wouldn't have to go further. But just in case, you know, as a grad nurse, you want to make sure that you know everything, I was also going over to other resources just to make sure that I was more prepared for a question on that topic. So like I said, I wrote out all the rationales, whether they're correct or incorrect. I studied them so that the next day when I sat down in the library, I was able to go back to the original page and recite it or explain it to one of the girls in the group. And then once I was able to do that, I'd move on to another set of questions, whether it be 25 or 75 questions. And what I did was, at first I was doing the exams in the timed mode, which I found was very helpful because in the time mode it mimicked the actual NCLEX test, because whether you're doing the 25 questions or 75 questions, the time would be deducted as you're taking the test, and that's just like how NCLEX is. So I thought that that was helpful. I felt that it was more effective for me personally if I did the questions in tutor mode. Now, tutor mode on UWorld was very helpful for me because when I did one question and I answered it immediately, I was able to get the rationale just like that. And I felt that that was more helpful for me because I had the question and the topic right in front of me. So whether I got the answer right or wrong, I was able to read it right away and make sure that it stayed in my head right then and there. So if you're like me and you want to get things in, I would recommend doing tutor mode. And then eventually, after a while, once it got closer to my exam date, I did questions every single day, took breaks of course, but I did not continue on with writing the rationales. Let me just be real, after a while, my hands were tired. I was tired, so I did not bother with it. I just made sure to fully understand what the rationale was trying to explain, and once I understood that, I was able to answer the questions correctly. Another thing that I felt helped me with passing my NCLEX was daily prayers. Being strong in my faith, as well as reading motivational books, prayer books, the Bible, to help keep me in a positive mindset. Studying for NCLEX as well as being a repeat tester really bring down your self-esteem, and you may feel like, oh, why am I still doing this? Why do I have to study all over again? But when I read those books, it really uplifted me. I joined the UWorld Facebook group, and let me tell you, that group is super supportive. There are so many nursing students, new grads, nurses in there that are generous in sharing their tips, sharing their information. So I found that that was helpful for me because as I was studying, every now and then I'd peek into the group and I would see what people were posting, whether they were talking about their NCLEX experience, sharing what need to know information that Mark Kelmick. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but I will leave it down below in the description box of his name and where you can purchase his review. His review was last minute for me because, like I said, I just popped into Facebook, the UWorld group on Facebook, and I saw a lot of people mentioning it in UWorld, so I was like, okay, a lot of people are talking about it, so I'll take a look at it. I was able to look through it, and all I did was listen to him. and he had so many helpful tips that really changed my mindset. There was a different way of thinking, and I feel like that was really the way that I needed to pass my NCLEX. I don't know if you know, but some people recommend that the day before a huge exam you relax. But typically for me, relaxing before an exam is non-existent. Like, I would stay up late and study last minute material. It was just something that I was accustomed to in doing in nursing school. So for NCLEX, I didn't see anything different, and with my previous exam I did the same thing, and obviously the outcome was bad. But this time, I know that God made it a way for me to be out of the house. My family and I went out to celebrate my aunt's birthday, and that to me was like a gift because it allowed me to get out the house, it distracted me, and it allowed me to put focus on somebody else and not myself. That was definitely a huge change for me because normally before an exam, I'm like, oh no, I can't talk to you. Oh no, I gotta look over some stuff. I gotta do this. I have to get this in now. But that time, I was eating, and I love to eat. I was eating and I was, laughing, and we were praying. So it was definitely a difference for me, and I really do appreciate that. It was really good to be stress-free the night before the exam. So I do recommend that you follow through with that. The night before your exam, don't stay on Facebook looking at UWorld. Don't go and, drink. Don't go and stay up late because you need your brain to rest. I feel like that was so very important to get good rest. Good sleep. So that night before the test, I made sure to get good sleep. I said my prayers, I read my Bible, and I kept my Bible open to Matthew 21:22. And I felt that it was very powerful for me. And then on exam day, I woke up pretty early, did some yoga, said my prayers. I went over the basics like the lab values, some need to know information. And then my cousin made me breakfast, which I really appreciate. It was really good. A good breakfast is really important. And speaking of that, I do have a blog called FearlessRN. I recently put up a post called Brain Food, Fuel for Test Day. So I did mention in this blog foods that work well to give you the energy and help you concentrate. So I will leave the link to that directly in the description box for you to take a look at that if you're interested. On NCLEX, they recommend that you come 30 minutes earlier, but I actually arrived a little bit earlier just because I already knew what to expect, and I just wanted to get in there, get a little bit relaxed and settled, and start on time. And I think I packed a light lunch, but very, very powerful. And I also had my Bible, and I had confidence. Confidence is key in passing this test. This test, I feel like, is designed to really, finally pick out what are your weaknesses. And I feel like without confidence, you can't overcome that. Without confidence, you can't get through these questions and pass. So for this test, I felt that I was really, really confident in myself, and my faith was right there. My faith was so high that I knew that God was with me. I'm so thankful today that I can say I'm free from NCLEX. Please be sure to check out some of my recent videos here on FearlessRN, study tips for NCLEX, and it's a two-part video, part 1 and part 2. So please check those out if you haven't already. I feel like those tips were helpful for me, and I wanted to share them with you guys as well. Please leave some video requests down below, some advice you may need. You can even email me if you'd like. I'll leave my email right here or down in the description box for you if you'd like to make your request down there as well. And please, guys, join me on my social media sites because I will be very active on those sites and in between videos as well. I want to make this a very helpful, informative, and entertaining environment here in the FearlessRN family. I will try my best to get videos out to you guys every Wednesday and Saturday. So it's very important that I see some feedback so I know if that would work for you guys. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. And thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it. And as always, subscribe, share this video along. I really, really would appreciate it. If you're about to take this test, you could do it. You made it through nursing school. No matter how many times you take this test, no matter how many times you have to sit down and study, it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be worth putting RN behind your name. Thank you guys for watching me here today, and God bless you guys and good luck. And I want to hear from you guys, so leave some comments. See you in the next video. Stay blessed. Bye.